Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmas Mimi Rosner Mordechai. Mayor Rubenstein says, I learned your daf with a friend and I love it. Next, by David Schreiber, also known as David Seufer. If by any chance lights go out, Matzah Shabbos, it's time to say Shal Shus Torah, but apparently you are an Oberländer in origin, Baskevitz. How does he know that? Before Switzerland, the years before that were from, I think, I just saw this on Shabbos. Punkt gesehen, that Lubavitcher cousin of mine sent me that whole leaflet, so I read it on Shabbos, and it says Baskevitz. Okay? Oberland. Basically, we're Hungarians. That's what it says, yeah. We like to say that we're Swiss, but yeah, we are Hasidish and Sfardish probably also.
You want to wait an hour and a half between Rosner and Torah.
Yeah. Now on a serious note, I see that you're ongoing problems with the launch of the Daf tablet. My son Motche, yes, without an R, Schreiber is a real maven in the sphere. I've done numerous programs universally used by TAG, US, UK, Israel, and elsewhere. The kids are, but I don't have his information. So somebody get in touch with Motche Schreiber. Whatever, we'll go through the father somehow. Hi Rebelli, I want to thank you for the amazing share you give every day. This week, Monday, is my birthday. I'm becoming 25 years old. Hashem should bless you. This is from Avi Junger from Vienna, Austria. The famous Avi Junger. Hashem should bless you and the MDY team and family with health, happiness, and money. We should all learn together till 120. The Chaim Lemar, Refuah Shlaima. Life should be great. Oh, Rabbi Sai sits right over here. Shua, where is he? He's hiding over there in the corner. Get over here for a second. Look what he did. This took a couple of tries, but we got him. You don't have to move over. No, just... You ready? Here, it's on the screen, nice and loud. Get over here. Come, Tzaddik. How you doing, Tzaddik? How long have you been doing this year? A month. And you're already doing these videos. Givaldik. Check this out. He has a good morning, Rabbi Sai.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
Begin. What, you like that one? We'll do it again. It starts off nice and slow.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
Okay. Chaim Adler, thank you for all the effort you put in this year. Mazel tov for the completion of Perek Aleph. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Your Talmud and MDY family member, Chaim Adler. Paul Lowinger, dear Rebelli, I'm reading this because this address, I heard this question over and over, and if you're not part of the shir, you haven't been for a while, so here it is. It's been a while, I want to write, but until now I got a business card, Bell works, I didn't know how to contact. A friend of mine, Moshie Horn, introduced me to shir, beginning of Vamis, I haven't missed a daf, I truly enjoy it. I think this is the first time in my life, I'm 15 years older than you, so he's like 65, that I finished a complete Masechta. 65-year-old finished the complete, first time in his life. I was very inspired at the shir on AVUT, as well as the Simon Bellworks. The main point of my email, and this is very important, Rabbi Sai, all my life I've been davening in Ashkenaz Shul in Borough Park, Ber Shmuel, Frankfurt, Unsdorf. The old-timers, there were families like, check this out, this is not a joke, he's not making this up. Finkel, Takotsky, Perntitsky, Rakowski, and Stefansky. Finkel was the father-in-law of Perntitsky, Kitzer, the other three families, I think related. I'd love to hear your relationship to them. The devoted Talmud from Borough Park, Paul Lowinger. I hear you want the Hebrew names, Yeshua, Moshe, Mordechai, Lowinger. So the kids all Stefanskys are related. My grandfather was one of 10 brothers, and therefore all Stefanskys today come from those 10 brothers, and we are all related. I hope that answers this question. Oh, and he wants to know about the Dagim Tuna. The Dagim Tuna that's part of that shul. Yeah, they're my father's cousins. The Koilol is sponsored this month. Last day. Lili Nishma Zechayir ben Moshe. And we have another sponsor, Baruch Hashem, lined up for the Koilol. It's $10,000 a month. If you're interested, be in touch. But we have one for tomorrow, for next month. The Masechta, Lili Nishmas Moshe Elazar ben Shalom, and Lili Nishmas Baruch ben Moshe Aaron, and for that, hatzlacha b'chol ha'anyinim for my children. The second partners of the Masechta is Jefrazim zchus my son Yosef Simcha Chaim ben Sarah Chana Refuah Shlaima. Parnas HaChodesh by the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood New Jersey, because Torah is the best. Segula, as is zchus for our children to be Kodesh, safe, healthy, and happy, and know Hashem loves them. Parnas HaChodesh number 3, Shragi Chafetz RL149, as zchus for my family and myself, for the Tzaddikim of RL Hatzalah. Parnas HaShavua, Kilev's family, Lili Nishmat, Eliyahu ben Bakmal Akilov. I just wanted to point out something very interesting. This week's Ami magazine, there's a present on the cover. One day, maybe there'll be a Magichir on the cover. But until that day, there is a story here, the lunch break Maisa, with Moshie Belsky. Here's Moshie. It's a great article. And basically, there's a picture in there. I was wondering, my wife comes running to me and she says, there's a picture of you in there. Okay. It says like this. What? You missed the Zoom? Yosef will do it. Here you go. This is how Bell works. This is his father. Okay. But my point is, you have to read the entire article until you see why that picture is in there. It says all the way at the last piece. And it's a very long article. Most people don't get there, so I'll say it for you. But it's unbelievable. First of all, Moshie raises over $1 billion. He raised over $1 billion of equity to go into real estate deals. He's the number one guy in that space. So it says like this. I should have underlined it, no? I've finished many mesechtas, including Yevamis, with the shir. He goes, okay, I've tried to do the daf so many times, but never stuck. But now my father urged me to try Rebelli's shir, and I've not missed a single day since. I've finished many mesechtas, including Yevamis, which, as you know, is one of the longest and hardest ones. I still don't know how long I will stick out this time, but I can tell you that for me, this is a bigger accomplishment than all the money I've raised and all the deals I've done, and I owe it all to Rebelli. Shkoyach. Shkoyach Moshie. Should have a lot of hatzlacha. Anybody needs equity, go to Moshie Belsky. That's the place to get it.
He's looking for equity.
He's looking, what?
He's raising the money.
He raises equity. If you have a real estate deal, but you don't have the money to buy it, he gives you the money to buy it. He finds big corporate guys that give that money. But it has to be like $1 million and up, whatever. Okay, read the article, you'll see. Rabbi side today is Daf Yudches. And we are holding on the top of Daf Yudches. So, we're continuing today's sugya with Hapesha Asar Hapesha Hitir. And that is a very simple concept. Makes a lot of sense logically. If we didn't know about something, and somebody comes forward and tells us, gives us information about a certain thing. He says, by the way, your father used to own this real estate. We had no idea about it. So he has the right also to explain what happened. He has the right to say, well, I bought it from him. So you don't own anything today. But if we know about it from a different source, there's Eidim or whatever, then is that a new guy next to you, Donnie? Shalom Aleichem. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Why are you sitting all the way back there? You know, we have special seats for guests. Good. So, ask the Gemara. So yesterday we were dealing with, why does it say that the case is, what's the case? A guy comes over to a kid and says, you know, your father used to own this real estate, I bought it from him. And he's believed. Why do you have to say your father? The Gemara says, I have a better case. You owned it and I bought it from you. So the Gemara goes in, that's not good with the Seifa. But now the Gemara says another thing. And a similar answer like we had yesterday. Why do you have to say a complicated case? Your father used to own it and I bought it. Say directly to him. V'lisni. First line on top of Yuches Amud Aleph. V'lisni, not real estate, money. I borrowed money from you and I returned it to you. Shu neman. And he's believed. Why? This is a pesha asa pesha hitir. Again, we'll talk about shar shachot. What does shar shachot mean? You don't have any kind of claim. There's no dead animal in front of you. Say, hey, how did it get here? What's going on? Who shechted this? There's nothing. It's blank. So if I come and I tell you that I borrowed money from you, you had no clue, right? There are people like that. They don't know who borrows, who doesn't borrow. They don't keep a cheshbon, and a year passes by. I don't know. So I'm telling you, I borrowed money from you. Just happened to my chavrusa. Somebody came to him after 12 years and paid him back. He says, for 12 years, he kept on pushing him off. I didn't have it. Finally, he remortgaged his house. He just paid him back. Happens. Halavai and everybody. So the Gemara says that's not a good example. The reason why we went to real estate from a father, again, the second part of the Mishnah says, Im yesh edim. What if there are Eidim? So it's not Ein Shor Shachot, it's a Shor Shachot. We already know about this story, so you don't have the right to explain. That doesn't fit in a case of money. That only works with real estate. The Gemara will explain. Im yesh Eidim shulava mimenu v'oim imperativ ein inema. What are we going to say? But if there are Eidim, then he's not believed. It's not true. If there are Eidim, v'oim imperativ ein inemon v'kaim alon hamalvez chaveir be'edim. So the second part of the mission is not going to work. We want to say a case of shor shachot, ain't shor shachot. If we know without you, we don't know without you. Over here, when it comes to money, even if we know the situation without you, there are Eidim that's testified that he borrowed money. That's not enough. Why? Because he could claim he paid it back. And I don't have to pay it back in front of Eidim. The halacha is, just because Eidim saw the loan, doesn't mean you have to pay it back in front of the Eidim. So in Mela, the fact that Eidim come forward and tell us about the story, last year you borrowed money from him, it's nothing. It's as if they never spoke because they don't count. I don't have to return it in front of them. Therefore, we have a better case in our mission. We have a case of real estate where we can fit in the Eidim. The Eidim make a difference. And that's another very big point that the Mishnah wanted to make, that if we know about the story and we have a shor shachot lefanecha, because Eidim came forward, then the guy is not believed anymore. He doesn't have a pesha asar, a pesha itir. In money, it doesn't work. It says the Gemara, listening, how about another story? Why do I have to go into real estate? Just say, I borrowed money from your father, but I paid back half. It's like Shuneman. It's like a Moed B'Miktas. It is a Moed B'Miktas. He comes forward, but there's no shor shachot over here, right? Nobody came with a claim. We didn't have, hey, you owe my father money. I volunteered that information, and therefore I am explaining it, and I don't have a Moed B'Miktas. Okay, that's for next. So how come the Mishnah doesn't bring that case? Says the Gemara, Aliba the man. Now there's a concept when it comes to Hashavas Aveda, if like that Jew, going back to that story with the parrots, like the Jew that returned the wallet and the parrot said, well, it was 2,000 and 1,000, does he have to make a shvuah? If it happened to a Jew, if I return a wallet to you and you say, hey, there's more money in the wallet, what's going on here? Does the person that found the wallet, does he have to make a shvuah? The answer is, Chacham or Musaki, you don't make a shvuah. Why? Because tikkun ha'olam. Nobody's going to return anything. Every time I want to return something, I have to be worried that I'm going to end up making a shvuah, and people don't like making shvuahs. So according to Rabbanan, there's no shvuah. Tikkun ha'olam. I just want to say real quickly, because we were learning the sugi. I wanted to say the story then, but we didn't have time. So I'll just stick it in here, even though it doesn't fit in as well as it did there. But Rabbi Yerucham was on a train. A beautiful story, I thought. He was on a train, and one of his gloves flew out the window. So without thinking, he took his other glove and threw it out the window. And he said, at least if somebody finds one glove, he'll have a pair. What good is it if I have one glove and that guy has one glove? Okay, Beishav Aveda. We have to think quickly. Huh? Tikkun olam. Here, Tikkun olam. Says Gemara, Eli the Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, the famous Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Kaven Naki. The halacha is always like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Ha'amar shvuah boy. Even though we don't have a shor shachot lefanecha, even though we don't have any reason for this person to make a shvuah, there's no taina over here. He volunteered the information. I owed money to your father and I paid half. Shalom Aleichem, come on in. Name, location?
Stephen Tolkien from Sydney, Australia.
Sydney, Australia. Stephen, what's your last name again? Taub. Shalom Aleichem, why are you out of breath? You ran all the way from Yerushalayim? You came from Australia now? Straight? Wow.
Quite the run.
I have a feeling that people come in late with Dafka. They want that extra special. Even the guys that were there from before. Levi Friedman, Shalom Aleichem. Yeah. Get him a coffee, somebody. Get him a seat first. Get him a Gemara. All the way. Get him some oxygen. Rabbi Yaakov says, listen to this. The guy volunteered information. He says, I owed your father money, but I paid him half. We give him a shvuah. Rabbanan say no shvuah because he's a Meishav Aveda. He volunteered information. It's like he found a wallet for this kid. Okay, it's half the amount, but it's still a wallet. Rabbi Yaakov says no. He has to make a shvuah. Now, how does that answer the question? This answers the question. So nevertheless, bring this case. What's the difference? He says it's a Meishav Aveda. It's very good because now we're not dealing with shor shachot anymore. This is regardless of whether there's a shor shachot in front of you or not. Chacham, we're going to say you're not chayiv shvuah, and Rabbi Tzvi says you are chayiv shvuah. It doesn't matter if you have a raya, don't have a raya, whether he's a katan or a gadol. Either way, you have to make a shvuah according to Rabbi Tzvi, and either way, you don't make a shvuah according to Rabbanan. So this chiddush that Rabbi Yeshua is trying to say in the Mishnah, that it makes a difference whether there's a shor shachot, if we have any evidence to the claim before you open your mouth, it's not part of his chiddush. We're trying to say he only is believed when he came on his own. And over here, this has nothing to do with it. This is another halacha. The Sanya, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Omer, Pa'amim shodim nishbal tainas atzmai. So this is very interesting. We have to see throughout the sugya what this means exactly. These words. Sometimes a person will make a shvuah on his own claim. Like we just had a second ago. He claims that he borrowed money from the father. Nobody knew about it. Only he himself came forward. And based on his own claim, he has to make a shvuah. Ketzad. But the Gemara is going to edit it a little bit. Ketzad. Manala vicha biyadi. I owed your father 100, but I gave him 50. Nishba. He has to make a shvuah. He himself caused the shvuah, nobody else. So even if the Yosem by himself came through, he says, hey, you owe the money, according to Chacham, he's potter. You hear this again? The Yosem comes forward. He says, hey, I have information. I remember my father talking about the fact that he lent you money. I want you to pay it back. What is that? That's a shor shachot. He's potter. He's potter from a shvuah, Chacham say. So again, even though you have a shor shachot, he's potter. According to Rabbi Tzvi, even if you don't have a shor shachot, you're chayiv in a shvuah. The kitzur, it's not the halach of shor shachot. It doesn't fit in our mission. I don't understand. Everybody agrees to this idea that if we're going to make every single person who returns an item make a shvuah, nobody's going to return that item. Even Rabbi Tzvi must admit to that idea. Okay, so now we have to start fixing things up here. Says Rav, what happened is that the Yosem came along and he's the one claiming and he says, you owe money. But he's a katan. He's 7 years old. He says, hey, you owe my father money. So yeah, get out of here. Who are you? You're 7-year-old. So, but nevertheless, he has to make a shvuah. Ask the Gemara, why should he make a shvuah? He's a nobody. Who is he? He's not bar mitzvah yet. He doesn't know what's flying. He's making stuff up. Can you imagine like a 7-8-year-old comes over to an adult and says, you owe me money? And that forces an adult to make a shvuah. It's not even right. It shouldn't be. A shvuah, people are masking a lot of times to pay and not make a shvuah. So here you're going to have a kid, a youngster, a kid under bar mitzvah. Maybe it's true, maybe he didn't hear well, maybe we don't know. Says Gemara, my katan gadol. So another tchak kind of, but it's not really a tchak. What it means is he's a minor in this story. He doesn't have seichel in the story. He wasn't privy to he doesn't know the information. He's a katan. My katan gadol. Va my karli katan legabe mili da'aviv katanu. Because when it comes to his father's business, he doesn't know what's flying. He's a katan. Yachi tainas atzmai. So Elazar ben Yaakov says sometimes on his own admission he has to make a shvuah. That's not his own admission. Somebody brought him to court. A gadol brought him to court, and you're telling me he's not a gadol because he doesn't know enough, but still somebody else brought him to court. Don't say it's atzmoi. Don't call him himself. Tanis acherimi. So the Gemara, you're right. We have to fix it up even more. Tanis acherim v'das atzmoi. The gadol who doesn't know much, he has the halacha of, let's say, a katan when it comes to his father's nechasim. He's a gadol, but he was teveim. But he admitted himself. On that admission, he has to make a shvuah, ask the Gemara to have his question. Every time Ninu, every time you go to Bezdin, every time you admit to something, it's based on somebody else's taina. So why are you calling it your own taina when in fact it's somebody else that sued you? You're not such a tzaddik that you came forward and you said you were sued and then you admitted. That's not taina satzmai. Elo hacha b'derabba kol mifligi. Over here again, a Shas Katan alert. If you see the pasuk over here, it says in the pasuk, "Ki yitin ish el reyehu kesav akelim lishmar." The whole, beautiful. I like it. Gary, I like it. The whole, do it again. Show the ilam. It was cool. Do it. Why not? Don't do it. The whole idea of shvuah. The Torah talks about shvuah in this parasha. It says ish. It has to be an adult. So einachanami. When a katan comes forward and says, "You owe my father," well, not you owe my father. If a katan comes forward and says, "You owe me money," the Torah says ish. We ignore a katan. He's not going to make a shvuah, but this case is different. This is a case of tainas aviv. It is a katan. He's 11 years old. But he's coming with his father's power. He's saying, "You owed my father money." Is that different than a katan just coming and saying, "You owe me money"? Yes. Why? Now, a lot of us, anybody that went to cheder, yeshiva as a youngster, most likely learned this as the first thing you ever learned in Gemara. This is the first daf in Gemara, daf gimel in Baba Metzia. Or a mafkid, sometimes we learn, Shnai a mafkid. So we're very familiar with this. Gears to the Yankel Cohen doesn't get any better than this. Why is it? What's the logic behind it? When a person admits, if he's kofer alcohol, if he says, "I don't know you anything, get out of here," no shvuah. But if he admits he's a nice guy, and he admits to have, all of a sudden he has to make a shvuah, it doesn't make any sense. It does make sense. Why? Because we understand human nature. Chazaka. Ein adam meiz panav b'fnei bal chayvai. A person doesn't have the audacity to lie to the person that did him a favor, says Tais. Tais brings Rashi in Baba Kama. Ein adam meiz panav she'asa l'toiva shilvo. A person that does you a favor, you don't have the chutzpah. At Akasha, my famous Maisa, the guy is not watching this year, so I don't have to worry about it. A guy borrowed my car, Maisa Shahaya. He borrowed my car and he needed it for 2 days. So I said, "Okay, on condition, it wasn't my car, it's my wife's car. So on condition that you return it as clean as I gave it to you." So literally a year later, he returned the car when he was supposed to, maybe a few days late, but not a big deal. And a year later, he tells me he has a big taina on me. He needs to discuss it with me. I said, "No, what?" He said, "When you lent me the car, remember?" "Yeah." He said, "I sat up till 1, 2 in the morning and I cleaned the car like crazy because you never said thank you to me." You do a person a toiva, he's not meiz. Maybe he's not Adam. No, that's for shalom. He's a good guy. Ain't Adam meiz panav nei b'chayvai. It's a good thing he doesn't do the daf. It's a MSMIs. He's a great guy. Actually, whatever. He's a great guy. I'm good friends with him. But some people have their little mishkasin. I asked him mechila and everything was good. Next time, don't worry. I won't lend you the car and I'll say thank you. Don't worry about it. At the end of the day, he should have been kofer alcohol. There's a chazaka. A person cannot look somebody in the face. He did him such a favor. He lent him money. You're going to look him in the face and lie and say no? You don't lie to somebody who did you a favor. So to say, why didn't he lie and say he doesn't owe anything? That he can't do. It's impossible. It's not human nature. Amud Beis. At the end of the day, the truth is, he should have admitted to the entire thing. And the reason why he didn't admit to the whole thing, he wanted to buy some time. I don't have money now. So I'm going to say the minimum. I have to say something. I can't lie, say it never happened. I'll say 50%. And when I get the money, I'll pay you back. The Chachamim were concerned that this guy is going to keep on pushing it off. Like, this guy just paid 12 years later. There's nothing pushing him. Swear, once you make a shavua, you're going to pay it up right now. Now, Taisus right on top over here brings up a beautiful kasha. What are you concerned? You're concerned that this guy's a ganav. He's not going to pay back. So what do you tell him to do? Swear. He's a ganav, so swear falsely. If somebody could steal from somebody else, he'll also swear falsely. Fine. At the end of the day, Taisus says, no, that's not the problem. He's not a bad guy like that. He has excuses. He wants to push it off. I said this a few times. I heard Madoff saying that he's not a bad guy. Madoff said that the first deal he did, he really wanted to return the money on time. Just he thought that if he takes the money and spends it somewhere else and gambles it or whatever, he'll make more money and he messed up. He lost the money. So he said, okay, let me take from somebody else. But he never had intent to steal. This guy also never had intent to steal from the guy. Nice guy. He's Madoff. Nice guy. Just things happen, and by the time he's done, he's not going to pay at all. Huh? No, it's a musar haskell. Be'emes, it's a musar haskell because anybody can fall into that trap. Nobody said, when I saw him speaking, I believed him. He said, I'm not a ganav. I never took money from anybody up until that point we really got into big loch. And he tried to fill it up, and every time he tried to fill it up, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then by the time, that was it. He couldn't tell the emes anymore. Okay, there are people, they're sociopaths, and they go and they steal. That I didn't think that was the case with him. I'm not trying to be tzaddikim at all. I know there's a lot of good people that lost a lot of money with him, but just don't fall into his trap. If anybody from people fell into it, this and that, it's gambling basically. That's what it is. You gamble, and then all of a sudden. It's too late.
It's one thing if you gamble your money. It's another to gamble someone else's money.
Let's say he was really good at it. I'm just saying, he was really good at it. He made good money over the years, and he figured, okay, now there's no different. Let me just, and then it doesn't always work.
He was good enough to convince you.
A guy just came over to me. Literally, I'm just thinking about this now. A guy came over to me literally 2 weeks ago. This is exactly what happened. He's really, really good at a certain game. Really good, and people gave him, and he finally got into a special crowd. It's very hard to get into it. And they gave him a lot of money, and poof, he lost it all. He said, could you help me out? I was like, whatever. It happens. Fine. Oh, sponsored by Moshie Horn, in honor of Rabbi Tzvi Medetsky, the only Rebbe that was actually good at basketball, and he gave it to me, and I forgot. I'm Dafka forgetting. And Yankel Cohen, the official MDY MSP. Zog the Gemara. Rabbi Tzvi Yaakov Sovar loishna boy veloishna bebnoi einay meiz. Says Rabbi Tzvi Yaakov, if somebody did you a favor and lent you money, you're not going to be chutzpahdik and unbashful in front of the son either. You're going to have some sort of busha from him. Einay meiz. He's not going to be meiz. Vilkach lav meishav aveidahav. Don't consider him a big tzaddik returning a lost item. No. If he claims it, you're going to have to admit to it. Just now we have to understand. Remember, Rabbi Tzvi Yaakov said the words. He says sometimes you swear on your own account. So over here, it's not on his own account. Over here, the katan came forward and sued him. But since he's a katan, Rashi explains, it's considered like on your own account. So it's a little bit. It's in between what we were saying before in the beginning. Before we were saying, Mamish came forward by himself. Nobody sued him. came forward, he said, I owed your father money and he paid him half, and he has to make a shvuah that's alatzmi. Now we're saying no. A little kid came forward and sued him. It was, somebody else started it, and he has to make shvuah, but it's considered on his own account because it's only a kid, it's only a 5-year-old, 10-year-old. No, it's not true. We have to make a distinction here. The guy that lent you money, you don't have the chutzpah to lie to him. Since the son didn't lend him any money, what does he care to lie to him? And from the fact that he admitted to the son, that is considered 100% and therefore, bottom line is, at the end of the day, this case of me coming to somebody else and saying, I borrowed money from your father and I paid back half, does not fit in our Mishnah because it's not with the same rules of our Mishnah of shor shachal lefanecha, ain't shor shachal lefanecha. This is a whole different halacha and the story, but we brought down some halachas from Baba Metzia, hapesha hapesha hitter, and now we continue with the next Mishnah, also hapesha hitter, hapesha asar hapesha hitter. The official Mishnah is sponsored by Moshie Horn for hatzlacha with limud Torah and parnasa. Haydim shomru ksav yudenu uzeh, avol anusim hoyinu. So one of the ways to qualify a shtar, the shtar has 2 witnesses signed. So either you have the witnesses come forward and say, this is our handwriting, or you have Bezdin, they take another check or whatever from those Eidim, they compare signatures. So the Eidim themselves come forward. We admit that this is our handwriting. It's our signature. Yes, we signed. So this is a case of hapesha hapesha hitter. We, on the one hand, we're telling you this is a good shtar. It's our signatures. But toich kedei dibur, you have to immediately. You can't wait as long as it takes to say Shalom alecha Rabbi Moiri. A few seconds. You have to explain right away. We are the ones that without us the shtar is worthless. We're qualifying our signatures. We're also explaining that we were onus. There's a story of a Rav who somebody came to him and said, listen, if you don't give me a hechsher on my cheese, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. He threatened him. So the Rav signed. And then the guy went to Chutz La'aretz and he showed the vendors or the other Rav in the community. He says, I need a hechsher from you. So he says, okay, let me see what you have from the place that you gave him. So it said over there was a letter from the rabbi that was forced. And in the letter, he wrote a pasuk from Parshas Boy. It says by the carbon, what do you say? Huh? Mosneichem chagurim. Something like that it says. Mosneichem yu chagurim. It says when you eat the carbon Pesach, you should have the mosneichem chagurim with the belt. You should be the pants tied up. So he's Parshas Boy, mosneichem chagurim. What's going on here? So he looked in the Targum, and it says over there. I looked it up today. It says charitzchon yu asiron. So asira means like tied, knotted. Your belt should be tied, but it also can mean your cheese is aser. So he got the revs. Anyways, anusim oyinu. We were onus. We were forced at gunpoint. Hainu under the rest. Says the Gemara. Says the Mishnah. What does it mean? Or they say hayinu anusim oyinu. Sorry, missed the word. Aval anusim oyinu. Ktanim oyinu. We were youngsters. It's our handwriting, it's our signature, but we were children. What does psulei mean? Either we were relatives, or we gambled. They're believed. Why? Because back to the idea of hapesh asar hapesh hitter. Once again, so here's we spoke about this part of the Mishnah. But if there are Eidim that say that it's their handwriting, it's their signature, so now they don't have a right to qualify it and say, oh, we're anusim. Or there's no Eidim, but we can compare signatures. Says the Gemara, Okay, we'll see in a second. There's a problem of testifying. Kivin Shigid. Omar Rami Bar Chama. So now we have two Rami Bar Chamas. This is the first lashon. Lo Shanu. Now the first lashon is it's going on the second part of the Mishnah that the Eidim are not believed. Lo Shanu. The fact that the Mishnah says that the Eidim are not believed, Ela Shamru Anisim Oyinu Machmas Mamai. If they say that they threatened us, we're under duress. What was the duress? They're going to take away our house. They're going to take away the car. So we had to lie. No. Are you allowed to lie in such a case? No. So what are you if you lied because you were worried they're going to take away your car? You're Russia. So, Brash's Pasaleidos, Machmas Mamai. But if they had a good reason, where they don't have to give up their life, they threaten their life, and you don't have to give up your life to testify falsely. Okay. They're believed. How's that possible? So it says here in the pasuk, those words, im lo yagid. The Eidim have a one-shot deal. They're able to testify. After that, what is it called? Recant? No, there's a better, not double, like a double jeopardy. There's no good lashon here. They can't recant. They cannot recant their testimony. There's no better lashon. You should know. It's pretty good. I know that he knows. I thought maybe there's a, huh?
It's called recanting.
Recanting. The kids are, even if they explain it nicely, and they say, listen, we were, the cops forced us, this, that, nothing, right? Without cloud, they're not believed. There's a Gemara in Sanhedrin that says an unbelievable thing about this. The Gemara says that Eidim testified that somebody was Chayiv Misa. I didn't look it up, but something like that the Eidim testified that somebody's Chayiv Misa. So they were about to kill that guy based on their testimony. Then they started screaming, no, we lied. They killed the guy. Kivin Shegid, you can't recant. Once you testified and the guy's Chayiv Misa, as sad as it sounds, he's Chayiv Misa. You don't have the right to go back on your words. So in Mail over here, how could these Eidim go back on their testimony? They signed the document and now they're saying, we used to be gamblers, but today we're big tzaddikim, we're not gamblers anymore. We were forced at gunpoint. They said, if you don't sign, we're going to kill. Too bad. They signed. Maybe this idea, this pasuk. Look at the pasuk. If it's verbal, then you cannot recant. But if it's in a shtar, it's a signature. It's not yagid. It's not a haggadah. It's a ksiva. So maybe writing is different.
Just after Beis Din separated them and went through the whole process.
It's in the shtar. I don't know. Since it's written in the shtar, they could go back. Because the whole reason I know that they can't recant is because there's a pasuk, but the pasuk doesn't say anything about a shtar. You hear over here, if you sign in a shtar, then it's as if they testified in Bezdin. It didn't happen yet. It's as if it happened in Bezdin. And Memela, it's a haggadah. That's what the pasuk is talking about. You're right, they wrote it in the shtar, but it has a halacha of a haggadah. So, here we have, just to go through it real quickly, we have two Rami Bar Chamas. The first Rami Bar Chama says that Eidim are believed when it comes to Pikuach Nefesh. They're allowed to say, you don't have Kivin Shehigid in a shtar. And they could testify that there was a monetary oinus. The other Rami Bar Chama says, no, you cannot go back on shtar. and they don't have the ability to say about themselves that there was a einus in money. That they can't do. So the first part of the Mishnah. We were talking about the second part where they're not believed, and they're not believed because it was money. But if it's nefash, now we're saying the opposite. Or on the other part of the Mishnah. The first part of the Mishnah, it says, if the Eidim qualify and say, this is our signature, however, we were forced, they're believed. Why are they believed? Because the guy put the gun to their head and said, I'll kill you. But if they said that it was only because of a monetary duress, now, just Rashi points a beautiful thing here. Now you cannot say that we were relatives. You could say gambling, but you can't say this thing about relatives. So, if they're not believed, so what happened? So they say, this is a good star, but we were this and this. It says in the Mishnah, it's a good star. So now we say this idea, this concept, a Shas concept, Palginin Dibure. We believe 50% of what they said, we take the sentence and we chop it in half. The first, it's our Ksav, great. We were Anusim, no good. We don't believe that part. My taima, a person cannot make himself a Rasha with his testimony. A person cannot testify about himself. He's Negel Eidos. He can't say about himself that he's a Rasha. I saw an interesting Shiloh. I'm saying it over because I know the person. There's a guy that's very friendly with my father, big Eli. His name is Yisrael Ramnik. His father is Rabbi Ramnik, was Rabbi Ramnik from Farakwe. I saw this in Rabbi Zilshin's Sefer this morning. He said that there's a big Shiloh if there's a guy that decided to mess around with to mess up his wife. In other words, they were getting divorced. He wanted to really get her good. So he told her, I accept the Kiddushin on behalf of our 6-year-old daughter. Go figure out who the husband is, have a nice day, and he left. Could we trust him or not? So Rabbi Ramnik wanted to taina that ain't no the Meis Matzmi Rasha. That was his taina, because it's also to be Mekal Kiddushin for a youngster until she gets older, until she says Roitzani, all these halachas. So another Meis Matzmi Rasha, based on this, he wanted to say that it's not, we don't trust him at all, and just this girl can get married to whoever she wants. Should we stop here? Do 2 more lines? It's really part of the next sugya. We could just say it anyway. So now we have another man, the Amar Dibir Meir. Meir comes and argues on the Mishnah. He says the Eidim are not believed to testify and say that the shtar is possible. We understand the reasoning. Eidim are believed, yeah, they'll say that the shtar is kosher, but also we were forced or whatever. Why are they not believed? Okay, I can understand if the Eidim are puzzle. We have a chazaka that the guy that brings in Eidim is going to make sure that he brings in good Eidim. I don't trust them that they were relatives, etc. To say that there were kids that signed, that doesn't make sense either. My time, why aren't they believed to say that we were forced at gunpoint? If you are told, you get shot in the head if you don't lie. They should get shot in the head and not sign. And the Gemara is going to ask the obvious question. We know that doesn't go based on what we say. But for that, you'll have to wait for tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.